Good afternoon, this is RSC Monkey here with another video from War Thunder played on Xbox One. I've been flying in Realistic quite a lot and hoping that Gaijin would eventually get around to opening up these sim level battles for us. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's happening soon, or they've indicated in some of their forums that it might not happen due to some conflict with sharing of online with Sony. So instead, I've taken to the custom battles quite a lot. So I figured I'd show you the first 10 minutes of a custom battle I flew the other night. Custom battles are great. The maps are incredibly diverse. I like to fly divisions where you have chances to shoot down bombers, fight planes, and go after ground targets, so there's plenty of stuff to do. You can set which allies and which enemies you'd like to fly, and you can set the flight parameters. So in this particular map, I've got the planes locked to cockpit views. Anybody that comes and joins in would therefore be locked to cockpit view. There are no marked enemies anywhere on the map, so you can be as close as you can to using your situational awareness skills in order to find the enemies, identify the enemies, and shoot them down. A lot of people I see on the forums are not interested in the custom battles, primarily because any kills you earn in a custom battle do not contribute towards your grand total of kills. They don't contribute towards unlocking skins, or they don't contribute towards unlocking decals or anything like that, or ranking up. And so people seem to be unhappy with that. But from my perspective, I've got a handful of planes I enjoy. Since I'm in cockpit view, the skins are not quite as exciting as they could be. So I don't really mind not having just the right skins. And for me, honestly, the flight for me is the most important part. A little bit less exciting is the unlocking of planes. And I'm kind of more of a low tier plane kind of person anyway. So I've been working on lately in realistic battles trying to get to some skins, trying to get enough kills to get to some skins for the first, the Hurricane 1 late model. So that's what I'm flying here. And in this battle you can see there's plenty of room to, I think this is the Callan Gold map, but you can see that I've got a long ways to go to get to where the conflicts are happening, so that gives me plenty of time to climb, plenty of time to look around. The maps, by the way, are absolutely beautiful. I'm used to playing in Birds of Steel on Xbox 360, where we had a couple maps, not that many. In order to create diversity, we had to use a little glitch to overlay maps on top of each other, but here the maps are stunning and diverse and big, and there's plenty of stuff to see and do and look around at, and so I'm really enjoying the custom battles here. I would really love to see more people join custom battles, and when players do join my custom rooms, every once in a while one or two of them will stick around, but I think most of them are not at all prepared for the settings, so they join and find themselves typically crashing on takeoff because they're locked to cockpit view and they're not used to using a cockpit view, or perhaps more importantly, the settings that they use don't translate well to cockpit view. I've never used the mouse lead kind of setting, but at least when you're flying the mouse lead, I have no idea whether the mouse lead works if you're locked to cockpit view or not. So I have seen a number of players join, crash twice, and then leave the game. I have had a couple people lately sort of show up, but I haven't spotted them in the game. Right now I have a lot of enemies. Here you can see as I'm approaching, there are a number of planes in the sky, and so I'm trying to use my skills to figure out, are they allies or enemies? If they stay kind of, if these dots stay kind of a distance away from me, that gives me a clue they're enemies. If they're heading towards me, if they're staying a constant distance away from me, I assume they might be my friends. But if they're coming towards me, approaching me, then I assume they may be either bombers or fighters coming from the other direction and meeting me in the middle. Also, you can kind of get a clue by looking at your map and figuring out where you are, figuring out, are these enemy planes over top of friendly ground units or enemy ground units. If they're over friendly ground units, they do tend to be enemy planes, and you can kind of get a sense at what they are from here. In this battle, I expect to see a number of HE-111s, I expect to see some Stuka bombers, and I get a number of the fighter planes like the HE-112. So I'm kind of used to the shapes of those planes now for playing a lot of low-tier battles. Here I'm climbing and trying to approach to see. You can see a handful of planes going around, and it looks like there's actually three of them following each other, and I think at the time I was fairly convinced these were bombers, so I was trying to use a little bit of lead turn there to gain some distance on them. One of the biggest problems I find online and in these custom battles, in realistic battles and custom battles, is the Hurricane is damn slow. I keep finding myself chasing bandits and never being able to catch up. Now here I got distracted by a Stuka bomber, thinking that I would go after it instead of the HE-111s, and when it dives down here, I decided I didn't want to lose my altitude advantage. I saw that there was an allied AI plane on it, so I gave up and wound up losing track of those HE-111s that I was after before. So I sort of made myself, got too easily distracted. You can see the ground units shooting, and if you know that those are friendly ground units, you can also look in the direction that those ground units are firing to help you figure out if the plane down there, if that dot down there is a bandit. So that gives you a clue as to where some bandits might be. If you're over friendly ground units and those ground units are firing off in a direction, the AI ground units are great at identifying. Alright, so here I've spotted my bombers there. I've picked one of them out and do a little bit of lead shooting. Got a hit on it, trying to turn sharply. One of the things I've done in order to help improve my turning is to really adjust my throttle, trying to figure out those speeds at which I can use my flaps. A couple quick turns, and then I also use some barrel rolls to slow down behind these planes because I've had a big problem lately with running into them. And a number of shots, critical hits, doing a lot of firing, hoping to wear this guy down. You can see these bombers are pretty tough, but I did manage to shoot him down. Unfortunately, you can see from my damage marker, which I have left on. I probably could turn that off for my custom sim battles, but you can see my damage marker shows that my engine is just knocked out. My core is dead. Now, one of the things I really enjoy about the game is, again, it's not as much chasing after the skins and chasing up ranks and unlocking new planes and all of that. I actually just enjoy the whole immersive experience, and so in this case, I could bail out of the plane. I could just sort of leave the plane and go jump into a new plane and jump right back into the battle. But honestly, I actually enjoy the idea that, here's my pilot, high altitude, my engine is knocked out, and I'd like to see if I couldn't get this guy onto the ground safely. So you can see the smoke coming out of the back of my plane, and here, just because I enjoy the immersive experience, I'm looking around for anywhere flat to land. This whole area is covered with hills and valleys, and there's very, very little flat space. So I'm trying to find some friendly ground where I'm not going to get shot down by any foreign ground units, any enemy ground units, and still trying to hunt anywhere for any smooth spot of ground, and it's difficult to see. At this point, I noticed ahead of me that there was a Stuka bomber flying low, and even though I have no control whatsoever, I thought I would see if I couldn't get a kill in. Managed to hit, but then when I go to turn, I've just lost all velocity. That guy's going at a steady altitude. He's trailing smoke or trailing steam or something at this point, so hey, at least I got a hit, and I can hope that eventually he'll crash and I could get credit for the kill, but the truth is, there's nothing I can do to catch him at this point. I've so totally lost velocity, so now here I've got to change my mind again. I noticed there was a big crevice in front of me, and I decided I wanted to see if I could try to avoid that, see if I couldn't find a better place to touch down. But at this point, I'm so low in altitude and my velocity is so low that I've really lost all options. So instead, I just go to aim for a hill, try to keep my nose up, try to pull the nose up. I've been playing a lot with the singular controlled flaps a little bit. Find this hill and then make the attempt to land. That was an ugly landing, but I didn't explode. It didn't kick me out. It just basically has ruined my plane. So I'm going to go ahead and take that as a crash that maybe my pilot could have walked out of. And of course, this HE-111 is the one that gets the credit for the kill. You can see there I'm going to jump back into the Hurricane Mark II Tropical, which is the plane that I just sort of finished swapping out of. I unlocked all the skins for that game in realistic, and I do enjoy flying it. It's a very, very steady gun plane. I can aim very, very well. The problem is it's quite slow and it turns very, very slowly, so you have to be very careful how you fly it. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and end the video because the plane takes off, but I'm not going to make it anywhere into the battle before the 10 minutes is up. So I'm going to keep promoting these custom battles, hoping that I can get a couple people who are willing to do custom sim battles with me. I'll promote this on the Xbox, the War Thunder page on Facebook, and I'll promote this on the official Xbox War Thunder page as well, hoping that I can get a few guys who, like me, enjoy sim battles, and while we're waiting, this custom sim seems to be the best way to go. Alright, thank you guys. Cheers. I'll see you later.